Hello everyone, it's Alexis from the Key Center, and we're here today to share with you how to start seeds indoors 4 weeks before the last frost. So we're starting to plant our gardens, and we're going to show you how to do that at this time of year. If we're going too fast for you, the resources that you might want to look at are linked below this video. You'll find an activity plan with a supplies list, and you'll find a seeding calendar as well as some fun resources. So let's get started. We're going to collect all our supplies first. So you can see you'll need some labels. I have an example of what we found around our house. We've got tape, we've got a milk carton that we cut into strips and rewrote on the strips with permanent marker. We've got our activity sheets. You don't need a grow light for this activity, so all you need is a sunny window. A south window is the best, but an east or west window will do as well. You're going to need a pot, so you can collect anything from your recycling bin that's preferably if it's about 3 or 4 inches deep. And if it doesn't have drainage holes in it already, you'll poke some in your container. You can see there's so many things that will work. You'll need a tray to catch the water that comes out of your container. Lids work excellent. Some seeding soil, so when you go to a garden center, you'll just be looking on the bag for something that says that it's suitable for seeding. And then you can pick your choice of seeds today. So we have squash, zucchinis, and cucumbers. We have lettuce, spinach, kale, chard, just for a few examples. And the last thing you're going to need is a watering can. So at home we might not have this, but what works really well is a bottle, a homemade watering can. You just have to drill holes in the top,
and then put water in it, and then twist the cap on, and then squeeze it on the bottom.
And it works really well. Edwyn and I have chosen 3 seeds to demonstrate to you. So we've chosen some big seeds and some small seeds because
I choose a cucumber.
Cucumber. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we'll show you how to plant the big seeds. So Edwyn has a container with holes in it, and he's chosen cucumber seeds. So Edwyn, you can fill your container up with soil. And I've chosen zucchini seeds. And so I'm going to choose, Edwyn and I both chose some of our bigger containers because these create bigger plants. So it's a really perfect size. So what we do is we don't pat the soil down, we just fill it right to the top. And then Edwyn, can you water this a little bit?
Yeah. And then we water it up.
Right, okay, so now it's time to plant our seed. We've watered them and the soil has settled down a little bit. So we need to know how deep to plant them. So Edwyn's got these cucumber seeds. So we're gonna look at the diameter or the size of the seed, and we're gonna plant it 2 to 3 times deeper than the diameter. Okay. Edwyn's planted 3 cucumber seeds in his container. If they all germinate, so if they all sprout, we're gonna pick the 2 that look best and cut the 3rd one out, because having 3 in a container like this is probably gonna get too crowded, and it's probably too many to plant in one spot in our garden as well.
And I think I should have one going out of this cup and the others going out there.
Right. So then I've planted 2 zucchinis in this container, and if they both sprout, I'm definitely going to cut one out because zucchinis grow really big and they don't want to be that close together in the garden.
No,
so,
and then we need to put one out there and one inside here.
Right. So,
and then now it's time to put some water in.
Right. So I'm going to thin it down to 1 for sure if both of mine do sprout. So the next thing we do before we're finished with our big seeds is make sure you have a tray for your plants.
And also something to water with.
Great. And we're going to give them 1 more water before they move to the sunny windowsill. Now we're going to just show you how you work with your little seeds. So we've got things like chard and kale and lettuce, even sunflowers that could be planted at this time as well. So if you have smaller containers like berry containers or little yogurt containers or even toilet paper rolls, those work really well for some of the smaller seeds that I just mentioned. So essentially we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to think about spacing things out a little differently. So in a container like this, I would probably expect to have 4 kale plants or 4 chard plants. So 4 seeds, imagine dividing this into 4 parts. If we had something small like this, thank you, I put 1 seed in there. And if we had a container like this, I would say we could, because it goes right into the ground, we could plant just 1 seed in there. If we have a container like this, I'd say we can expect to have 2 plants. So you just kind of use your imagination. These plants aren't going to grow as quickly as squash and cucumbers, so you can get away with using a smaller container, and you can imagine growing multiple, say, heads of lettuce in one container, starting them here, okay? So after that, the instructions are very much the same as it was with the big seeds. We fill up our container with soil, and we level it off. Again, we're going to water it in. And because we're planting lettuce, my goal is going to be to plant 4 heads of lettuce in this container. So I'm just going to make 4 holes, one kind of in each corner. And we're going to look again at the diameter of our seed and plant it.
I'm gonna make
some lettuce too?
Yeah.
So
actually, I'm gonna put some more zucchini.
Okay, you can do that.
2 zucchinis.
So we're going to plant these 2 to 3 times as deep as the diameter of the seed. So in this case, when you're working with really small seeds, you're not going to be burying them very far at all. So just make a small hole with your finger. So I've made 4 small indents, and I'm going to put, I think I'll put 2 seeds in each hole. Again, because
2 seeds in each hole too.
If they don't all germinate, at least you have more of a chance that you're going to get some lettuce. And when you're done, just put a tiny sprinkle of soil on top, covering up your seeds.
Cover it in then.
Perfect. And then we're going to give it 1 more water. And before we put them in the windowsill, make sure that you've made some labels so that you know what you planted. Put your label in. Edwyn did zucchini here, so we'll give him the tape label. And now we're ready to pick a sunny location. So what happens next is we're going to keep our pots watered. We're going to wait for them to germinate. And we're going to make sure that our pots don't dry out in the next 4 weeks. So while they're growing, feel free to touch them gently, because when they're growing in your house, they don't really experience the wind like they will outside. So a way to get them used to the wind, I'll use this mint as an example. So we grew this mint a few weeks ago, is that we'll come every now and then when we check on them and when we're seeing if they need water. They're heavy right now, so I know they don't need water. But what I'll still do is I'll just rub my hands over them. It smells wonderful, but this helps them to get stronger and used to movement, and it strengthens up their stems so that when they go outside, they're not so shocked by the wind that they're going to experience. So that's your job for now, for the next month, is to tend your plants, keep them watered, keep touching them gently, and enjoy watching them grow. And we'll have a follow-up video for you in a couple weeks that shows you how to prepare your plants to start living outside. It's called hardening off. So we're going to show you how we harden off our plants so they get used to the outdoors little by little before we plant them outside. So we're going to follow up with you in a couple of weeks with that video, and then we're going to follow up with you once more showing you that when our plants are ready, what it looks like to plant in the garden.
And you can't even eat them when they're already.
That's right, we can't eat them yet. We're going to give them a chance to grow up to be much bigger so we have more to eat. Yeah, we're not going to eat them yet. Thanks, Edwyn. So if anyone has questions, just let us know in the comments below or email us. We're happy to hear from you. Thanks so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Now, I think it's time for the next video for I could do it.